Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now, Conor Benn and Florian Marku. Now that could be an interesting matchup down the line. Of course, they both have their respected fights. Conor Benn is fighting Granados and Florian Marku is fighting Prodan. So they both are fighting different kind of opponents because Prodan is actually undefeated. That is who Florian Marku is facing. Granados is not undefeated, but he's been in and around world level, so he has a wealth of experience, although he has come up short when he stepped up against the likes of Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. Nevertheless, he has been in the ring with them, so it will give Conor Benn some good experience, but you would expect him to be able to beat this guy if he's going to go on to world honours. Now, there was that video of them two together. They were quite respectful to start with when they met, but it was when Florian Marku explained that he's got to a certain level because he has the name behind him of Nigel Benn. Now that did rub Conor Benn up the wrong way, and then they started to go back and forth. But when talking about that, Conor Benn said he's ranked with every single governing body, so we could say maybe he's moving too quickly and looking to go to world honours, but if he's talking about being ranked in every governing body and looking to go on to world honours maybe next year, then he needs to be beating this guy and moving on. So that makes me wonder, where are these two guys at? If you look at Florian Marku, he is considered to be a domestic level kind of fighter at the moment, whereas Conor Benn is looking to go even beyond European level. So he is of the belief he's fringe world level already and not British, not even European, because as I said, if he's going for a world title, he would not consider himself around that kind of ranking. Florian Marku is still domestic level. So here you have two fighters who could be on a collision course, but they're almost on different courses, if that makes any kind of sense, because Conor Benn is someone who didn't have all that much amateur experience, so he's getting that in the pro game. He's had 18 fights to date, so he's going into his 19th fight against Granados, coming off of a win against Sammy Vargas in the first round. Now that was a good win, but it didn't give him all that much experience because one round isn't going to give anybody all that much experience. I mean, he was only in there for a minute and 20 seconds, so it's going to be difficult to take all that much from that victory. It's a good win, explosive, entertaining, brilliant, but again, he still needs to be learning at this stage of his career. I mean, people are talking about, or even him himself, he's talking about Sean Porter. If you look at the victories he's had, Sammy Vargas, Formella, Jamoye, then you look at the level of Sean Porter, the opponents he's facing, there is a clear difference between the two of them. So I believe there is still a bit of groundwork to do with Conor Benn. He can get there for sure, but he needs to be in the fights that give him good experience. Maybe a domestic level dust up with Florian Marku. I'm not saying he needs to fight this guy to get experience to go to world level. I'm not saying that at all. I believe that it's a great fight and one that they should explore, because at some point, maybe both of them aren't going to get to the point where they can fight a Sean Porter or an Errol Spence. So it would be great to see it before one of them perhaps has a defeat or one of them goes down a different road. Because there was a similar situation with Josh Kelly and Conor Benn. Josh Kelly and Conor Benn was one that was touted for the future, but Josh Kelly has since lost, and that was against David Avanesian. So that fight has had that sting taken away from it. The intrigue is not there like it would have been if they both went in undefeated. I mean, it's a great fight that can still happen, but can you really think that Conor Benn has that in his imagination at the moment? Let's go and fight Josh Kelly. He's not thinking about that. He's thinking about the likes of Sean Porter. His team are having to hold him back and say, no, we need to have more experience before going to world level and fighting someone like that, because once he gets there, there is no going back. He cannot fight Sean Porter, then go back and fight a Granados level. So at some point, he needs to be able to step up. And when he does, he needs to be ready, because there is no going back. If he gets there too early, he has to learn on the job. And anyone would think that he's running out of time. He's not running out of time. He's 24 years of age. He's moving extremely quickly when you consider the experience level and the age of the guy. So there is plenty of time. That's why I would like to see him in a fight with, I would have liked to see Josh Kelly, but I don't see that one happening now. So if we could not have that one, then I would love to see Florian Marku. Now, Conor Benn did say in that interview that if Florian Marku gets a title or if he gets a ranking with the governing body, so that it's almost a reason for Conor Benn to do it. He needs a reason to do it. He needs to gain something from fighting Florian Marku, because it could be considered as a high-risk fight if Florian Marku goes in and wins. That's great for him, great for his profile, great for his career. He's going to get a big fight and earn big money off of a win over Conor Benn. And I guess you could say vice versa, but the reward is probably bigger for Florian Marku going into a Conor Benn fight. Now, that being said, what Conor Benn is saying is, you need to bring something to the table that warrants me getting in the ring with you. So that's fair enough, but the reason why I like a fight between Conor Benn and Florian Marku is the same reason I like a fight between Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce, Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte. The reason for that is you can see them fighting for, say, Joe Joyce, Bermane Stiverne, Bryant Jennings, but then there's always the question of, okay, but how good is Bryant Jennings? How good is Bermane Stiverne now? I mean, they are at different stages of their careers to when they were at their best. So there is always that question mark when facing opponents like that. Opponents with experience that is valuable to take for the young fighter coming through, or prospect coming through. So Conor Benn is getting good experience by fighting the fighters that he's fighting, like a Sammy Vargas. I mean, they would have hoped for maybe a few more rounds for him. Maybe Conor Benn didn't, because it was explosive and exciting, entertaining and all of that. But his team were probably hoping that Sammy Vargas was going to take him rounds. That being said, there needs to be some kind of payoff for it, to see what he has learned and how he can put that into a contest with someone like Florian Marku, someone who is young, hungry, looking to challenge the top guys, just as he is, and has the desire to win as much as he does as well. It will be interesting to see how he puts all of the things he has learned into a fight like that. That's why I'm always interested to see two guys around the same level. Maybe Conor Benn is a little bit ahead of Florian Marku, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, they can both still have that dust up. I mean, if you look at Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois, that proved the level of both fighters and what they have learned during their careers, how Daniel Dubois was unable to adjust and find a remedy for that jab. So that proved that Daniel Dubois still had a lot of things he needed to learn to develop in the sport of boxing. A fight between Conor Benn and Florian Marku could prove the level of both fighters, because let's be real, we're starting to wonder what is the level of Conor Benn. I mean, I believe he could go all the way, but he does need to prove it, and we haven't seen him fight for British titles, European titles. That is why you have to wonder what kind of level he is on. A Florian Marku fight could kind of gauge that, and vice versa for Marku against Benn. Anyway guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.